Hi, I'm Zaclope, and this is another installment of my Brawl ideas. Now, in the last video I described the Mario franchise, which I consider to be the Mario series, the Donkey Kong series, the Yoshi series, and the Mario series all in one, because they're all very, very closely related. They all take place in the same universe. I think they do anyway, because WarioWare, you know, takes place not... he has his own business and he's creating electronic games. I don't know. But in this one, we're going to be talking about several different series. First off, Legend of Zelda. I love the Legend of Zelda. And there's a huge number of characters that can come from the Legend of Zelda into Smash Bros. First off, Link, 64 veteran. I've described this already. I want him to go through because he was a 64 veteran. He's been in all three games. He deserves to go through. Plus, he's the main character of one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. Put him through. He's already been confirmed, so I don't have to worry about that, but I'm talking about the future ones too. Now, in Melee, they introduced Zelda, Ganondorf, and Young Link. Zelda and Ganondorf are... they, along with Link, make the Triumvirat, or whatever the word is, the three biggest characters in the series. Ganondorf is the constant villain. Zelda is the constant damsel or guide. And Link is the constant hero. It's always those, not always, but most often those three. So those three have to stay. But Ganondorf needs to change. I hate Ganondorf in Smash Bros. Ganondorf is such a unique character, such a great character. He has his own storyline. He has his own style of fighting in the Zelda series. And what do they do when they introduce him into Smash Bros? They clone him off of Captain Falcon. Why? Why? Why would you do this? Doesn't make any sense. My suggestion for them is to redesign him to where he has his own moveset. One of the moves that I thought would work for him was throwing an energy ball. And then if someone were to hit that energy ball, it would return the direction it came from. And if it were hit again, it would return again, but that time faster, and it'd go back and back and back and back. Like if you've ever played The Legend of Zelda, or Ocarina of Time, or Wind Waker, and you fought against the Phantom Ganon, he does that. He throws an energy ball, it bounces back, it returns, it bounces back, and then the person it hits it stuns. Or if it hits Link, it hurts him. So I think that would be a fantastic addition to his character. Plus, get rid of the rising grab that Captain Falcon has. Replace it with like some evil twirl or something, like he's spinning in the air. Yeah. Of course, the one ability I think really fits him though is the one where he's rushing forward. He grabs the enemy, and then he just chokes him. He just chokes him right there. I think that has so much Ganondorf in it. It works. It's the only one of his abilities that work. That one works. Now, so yeah, and definitely speed him up, because in Brawl he was so slow he couldn't land any of his attacks, and he became the lowest character on the Smash Bros. Tier. Now, normally I don't agree with the tier, but Ganondorf I do, because he is horrible. He is too slow to deal damage. Anyway, Zelda Chic thing, I like it. It still works. Even though they're using different versions of Zelda, I still think it works. And then Young Link was removed during Melee. And I'm okay with that, believe it or not. Because they replaced him with Toon Link in Brawl. Toon Link much better represented a certain set of games. Young Link only really represented Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But Toon Link not only represents the Phantom, Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, Wind Waker trilogy type thing, he also represents the Four Swords games and many of the 8-bit games. Or the 2D games. Because of that, I think he fits wonderfully. And I'd love to see him return. Now, some of the possible choices I've heard. Toon Zelda. I think if you add Toon Zelda, you're kind of playing out the idea a little much. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying you're playing out the idea of Toon too much. I can see it working, like transforming into Tetra. That would work, but at the same time, you're playing it off a little too much. You're trying to... Oh, shut up. I got a little thing on my screen now. Okay. But yeah, I think you're definitely going at it too much. I think Toon Link would be enough. Now, if they add Toon Zelda, I wouldn't be disappointed. It could work really well. I don't know. Some of the other characters they mentioned. Skull Kid. Skull Kid from Majora's Mask specifically, not the one from Ocarina of Time, because in Majora's Mask, he has the mask, and he's the bad guy, and he tries to throw the moon into the ground, and somebody said that could be his final smash, and they won me over with that! Skull Kid throwing the moon into the ground for a final smash would be fantastic. And then there's Midna. One of the things that one of the ways I think Midna would work if they added her would be to have her riding on Wolf Link, but at the same time, I think you're going a little too far with that and Skull Kid, because then you're trying to get individual characters from individual games rather than trying to represent the series as a whole. And I can understand them working. It's just you're trying to take characters from an individual game and put them in to represent the series, and it doesn't quite work so well. Same thing with Giharam, the main villain of Skyward Sword. He is evil, and he is an extremely interesting character. But at the same time, from what happens in the storyline, I can almost guarantee he will not return in the Zelda series. I can almost guarantee that. So I don't think he's a good choice. And then finally, one that I just kind of didn't understand. Tingle. God. Tingle is the weirdest character in the Zelda series. If they can make him work, great. But I don't see how he can. He never fights. In one game, he's drawing maps. In one game, he has his own island. In one game, he has his own game where he's collecting rubies. I don't think he would fit in the game. Now, of course, if they were to add another character, he would be the most likely one, because he has so many appearances throughout the Zelda series. But once again, I don't understand how it would work. Where am I on time? Wow, that took a while. Now, Metroid. One character has been included from Metroid in the Smash Bros. Series. Samus. 64 veteran. Keeper. Now, possible. Some of them I've heard. Anthony and Melissa are two I've heard. Anthony and Melissa are both characters from Metroid Other M. They're recent, so I could see that working towards them. But Anthony has one weapon, and it's a laser cannon. It's a fantastically powerful weapon, but it takes an hour to charge. More than an hour. It takes like days to charge. It's completely unreliable. And Melissa is the one, she turns out to be the person that she turns out to be controlling all the Metroids, but I'm not going to explain anything more about that, because that's a huge story point. But once again, both of them are just from one game. I don't see them working. Some person said Dark Samus, which kind of in my mind screams clone. No. We don't need more clones. If they can differentiate her, maybe. But the one character I want to see... Now, I'm a firm believer... Oh, and then there's the Metroid Hunters, like Psylocke and stuff. But they were only in one game, and they were obscure, and I don't know anything about them. But Metroid does need another character. And there's one character that I think deserves to be there. For several reasons. First off, this character has appeared in nearly every game, if not every game. And this character fits the villain rule. See, Samus does not have a true single villain in the series. The last enemy of each game is usually very different from the others. But one enemy has managed to continue to thwart her or to try to stop her. Ridley. Now, some of you are saying at me right now, Zach, you can't include Ridley, he's too big. Shrink him! He deserves to be a playable character. He deserves it. Shrink him, for Pete's sake. You could shrink him to be like Bowser size, and he would work well. I think he deserves to be there. And he is one of the characters that I am just gung-ho about. He's one of the characters that I really want to see. Really want to see. Now, next, in Kid Icarus, I'm going to tell you right now, I have not played Kid Icarus Uprising, so I don't know any characters from the Kid Icarus series. I know Pit, and I know Palutena. And Palutena would be a nice addition. But other than that, I can't tell you anything about the series. However, I expect to see at least 2 characters from the Kid Icarus series in this coming Smash Bros. Because the person leading the team created Kid Icarus Uprising. So, without a doubt in my mind, more Kid Icarus characters are coming. I just don't know who they are. And finally, Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers was a single game, and it had a character no one expected, Ice Climbers. But they really worked, and they fit in Smash Bros. Well. I would be horribly disappointed if they removed the Ice Climbers. I think the Ice Climbers make a great character choice. Plus, they represent the game series as a whole. So I think they should be there. Plus, their game dynamic is pretty interesting, having 2 characters at the same time. It's very, very cool. So, yeah. Kind of just rushed through those last few groups, because... Where am I now? Oh, 11 minutes. I actually didn't go too far. Yeah, so... That's my opinion on that group of characters. If you have another opinion on it, please tell me in the comments. Tell me what you think of my predictions, my hopes. Please tell me. I'd love to hear what you have to say too. I'd love to hear what you want to see. There we go. I'd love to hear what you'd want to see, because this is not just my game. This is everyone's game. And if you disagree with my opinions, you have every right to. So go ahead. But please tell me what you think should happen. So thank you. Thank you once again. I'm not done with this yet. I've still got several videos to go. So keep watching and keep hopping. Guys. Thank you. Open it up. Get it.